G'day fellas and welcome to A Casted Game. We are here on the brand new expansion for Age of Empires 4, The Sultan's Ascent. Spawning in on the west side of the map, playing as Joan of Arc, the French variant civilization, we have BC. And in the color pink, playing as the Chinese variant civilization, Jussi's Legacy, we've got Voldemar the Kid. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is my pleasure to bring you this game. This is hot off the, I guess I'd say the closed preview. I don't know exactly what to call it. The creator preview, maybe that's probably the best term. You guys would have seen that we've had plenty of content coming out recently for the community. And I tell you what, I've been having a blast making it. Make sure if there is something that you haven't seen on the channel and you want to see it, let me know in the comments, because I do go through, I read all the comments that are on these videos, so I make sure that I keep up to date with absolutely everything. So let me know if there's something that's missing. Now, we're going to get into this because I tell you what, I am going to have an absolute blast casting this game, because not only do we have one of the world's best players, but he's up against who I would say, I'm not going to necessarily say it's like it's not his enemy by any means, but Voldemar. I mean, we've talked about him before. I'm not going to give you the whole rundown, but basically all you need to know is this guy's young. He started in the gold leagues. Now he's here taking on Beastie, and I tell you what, he is so scary. I've said it before. I'll say it this one time now. He will be at the next Red Bull Wallalol. I guarantee you. Anyway, let's get into it, because we've got two brand new civilizations to talk about. We've got Jussi's Legacy. We've got Joan of Arc. Let's start off with some Joan of Arc, because it's nice, it's simple, it's easy with Joan of Arc early on in the game. So, how does it work? Well, it's basically the French, except for a couple of differences. Number one, your villagers, they don't train as fast as the French. In addition to that, you also lose the bonus at keeps. Remember that your keeps have a reduced cost for the units that are built from production buildings immediately adjacent to them for the stable and for the archery range. You don't get that bonus here, but what you do get instead is you get to play Dota 2, and that is great fun, or League of Legends, whichever you prefer, because you got this little peasant down here. There she is, Joan of Arc, just doing peasant things right here. You can see that we've got Beastie beginning already early on in this game to throw down the School of Cavalry. Now, Joan is a little bit special. She's got extra health. She's also got extra build speed on her as well, so you always want to be building things with her. That's important to note. And she's going to level up throughout the game. So she starts off as a peasant, and then she's going to make her way. Probably Beastie will go with an archer. I don't think... I mean, he might go with the woman at arms. But the archer seems the most common at this stage. That's my expectations. Let's check in on the other side of the map, though, because I tell you what, if there is a civilization that you need to watch out for, it is Jussi's Legacy. I'm not kidding you, okay? So the testing that I've done behind the scenes with a lot of I would say the brains trust for Age of Empires 4 meta, every single one of them says Jussi's Legacy is overpowered. It's broken. It's absolutely busted. And you're about to see why. If we take a look down here in Voldemar's base, he's paid a very small price for this landmark. I say very small price. Look, he's still forking out a fair bit of money here, but these are pretty cheap. He's paying 60 food less. He's paying 30 gold less for each one of these bad boys that he's going to be throwing down. And it looks like at this stage, he will be trending towards that second landmark as well. So he's going to be putting down the meditation gardens. How does this landmark work? You might be wondering. So there's a radius around this landmark, and it is going to be passively picking up every single resource that is within this. The way that it works is, so 30 of a resource for gold and stone. So that's 30 gold, 30 stone, 60 stone now. So that's already 90 resources. And any wood that is nearby as well, he's also going to be picking that up. And it looks like he gets about half of this. It's immediately adjacent to it. So I'm going to guess it's somewhere around 45, 46 wood. So you're looking at a number close to around 130, yeah, about 130, 140 maybe, resources per minute. At the 4th minute, when players have only got 17, 18 villagers, you're getting the equivalent of 3 to 4 villagers in your back pocket. It's ludicrous. We can actually tell what the numbers will be here as well. So it'll be 40 wood a minute, and it'll be 30 gold a minute, and it'll be 60 stone a minute. So this is crazy for him for a number of reasons. The best one that I can give you right now, though, is essentially all he needs to do is really focus on making units early on in this game, and we can see already he's begun doing that. He's already put down the barracks. One of the things that he could look to have done is delay that barracks to be after the Jiangnan Tower, because then he gets a free spear from that landmark. But it looks like he's just quite relaxed with it, so fair enough. Each to their own. But what I will expect to see is that he's going to be looking to pull a second TC in relatively early in this game, because he's got 60 gold per minute, or 60 stone per minute coming in here, which means that after 5 minutes, you're going to have 300 stone. After 6 minutes, you can afford the stone for a TC. Not only that, but you're going to have cheaper town centers because of the Song dynasty, which is coming through with this second landmark. So let's keep an eye out and see how he goes about it. But we're right on board with Beastie as the first of the knights makes their way through, looking towards that enemy base. He's trying to find his way in here. Scout yet to really do too much on this enemy side of the battle. Where's Joan? How's she going? She's moving out into the middle of the map. Going to be doing a little bit of building, but never mind. We've got ourselves a shish kebab over on the east side of the map. How you doing it? Now the Scout copping a little bit of damage. Copping a little bit too much damage right there. You got to be careful, Voldemar. Ooh, I tell you what. Now, there we go. Joan has aged up. Joan has leveled up. She's gotten up to the second level. She's unlocked a couple of new skills. Most notably, she has got access to Divine Arrow. This is a spell which basically is an arrow that is divine. There you go. It does more damage. It's a skill shot. It's not a skill shot, it's targetable. But essentially, she is now an archer and a super archer. She's also got a couple of other abilities, like the ability to heal, and also the ability to consecrate a building, which gives everything a little bit of extra, a little bit less food cost on any of those units that you've got. But now we can start to see one of the first mechanics of this landmark meditation gardens being influenced, and that is that if there are enemy units nearby, it will reduce the peace in the area, and as a result, the meditation gardens, you can see right here that it's a passive landmark, can't operate, and as a result, we've now got this awkward little spot here where Beastie is dishing out this damage, and he is starting to hurt pretty badly Voldemar's economy, because this is quite a substantial amount of stone, and he could be looking to rely on this early on in the game, but Spear's now coming out. Voldemar scratching his head here a little bit, wondering how is the best way to approach this, and it looks like he's going to be moving into Horseman here. Second Horseman comes out as well, Jiangnan Tower. Going to be looking to supply that one up the rear, and now trying to focus down that Joan hero unit. Second Horseman coming out here, and now the Spears going to look to try and clean up what little pieces of cavalry there are left on this map, and you can see that Beastie's having a bit of a difficult time defending against the Horsemen. Right as I say that, the Horsemen will turn around and cop themselves a little bit of damage right there. But it looks like Joan should be able to get away. She's also got this heal coming off cooldown in about 13 seconds, and that could be what gets her back to that town center. If she does make it back to the TC safely, she will be able to regen out of combat. But the trick is that she's going to have to make it there in the first place. Down to 18 health here. It's not looking good for her. She's going to go down. And with Joan going down, it puts you in an awkward position here as Joan of Arc. You do have the option to return the Saint into play, but it's going to cost you 250 gold, and it's an expensive loss early on in this game. Now, before we go any further on in this game, I will just mention that both of these players here are creators. If you haven't checked out either of them before, I'll leave links in the description to where you can watch them live, both on Twitch. Beastie's actually doing a subathon on Twitch, which means he's going to be playing lots and lots and lots, so I'd recommend going and checking him out. But I'd also just say this is still very early on in the creator preview, and these guys have had their hands on the civs for a couple of days here, but a meta has not yet been developed. An understanding of the civilizations is still very basic, and so there are games that are most likely to, there will be mistakes, there will be upsets, and that's perfectly normal. So just understand that when we come into this, that things are not perfect just yet. And when I say that, I'm talking about the players. I'm talking about the game. The game's pretty damn good. What's Beastie doing going for this second mining camp? Actually, I got a question. When you put down this mining camp, is it cheaper? Oh, it's not cheaper. They pay the full amount for mining camps and stuff. I guess he's just looking for a better angle so that the villagers aren't attacked from this angle over here. I guess that's it. Oh my gosh, look at the size of that thing. All right, looks like Voldemar is going to start doing some walling here, by the looks of it. And I'm impressed. Is he thinking about trade? What kind of wall is this? This is absurd. Normally, this is something that you don't often see with the Chinese. Speaking of Chinese, we've got our second town center already coming down here. Now, one of the things to note is that Voldemar is in the Song dynasty. Now, even though the names of the dynasties are the same, the bonuses that they give are different. So as an example, we talked earlier about the fact that you had cheaper landmarks with the Tang dynasty. Whereas with the Chinese, the Tang dynasty provides your scouts a greater line of sight. Here, the Song dynasty, or I should say, with the Chinese, Song dynasty trains your villagers faster. Whereas the Song dynasty here for Juicy's legacy reduces the cost of wood for your non-military buildings. It means every single building that's not a military building. Oh, there we go. Joan's back, baby. She's got a little bit of XP right there. You can see her slowly leveling up. Now, unfortunately, on the UI, we can't see her XP bar, unfortunately. So we're just going to have to guess. And I'm going to say she's roughly, I'm going to say she's a third of the way to the next level, because there are a lot of levels. But just take a look at this. From Voldemar's perspective, we'll click on a villager. Town center only costs 240 wood. A house only 30 wood. A farm, 45 wood. Now, for anybody playing along at home, how much is an English farm when it comes to wood? Do you know the cost of an English farm? It's 37 wood. But what if I told you that 45 wood is actually less than 37 wood? And you might be saying, but Drongo, that's not impossible. 45 is clearly more than 37. How is it that Juicy's farms are cheaper than the English? Well, let me explain. This guy right here. Your wood, when you drop it off, you're not dropping off 10 wood. You're dropping off 12 wood because you get an extra 20%, which means that essentially your wood is worth a little bit less than what the other players' woods counts are. So 45 wood for you, it's actually closer to about 36 wood, which is pretty damn cool when you think about it. They literally have cheaper farms than the English, this civilization. And that's one of the things I've actually pointed out. I think this civilization may be the new English. I'm going to be doing a video on it shortly and explaining about why this civilization is just going to be a headache to deal with. It doesn't ever need to leave its base. It's insane. But even in saying that, look at Voldemar. Look what he's doing. He's expanding. The third TC is down right now. Now, of course, Beastie's gone for a second TC back up here as well. So, he's in good company. But the fact that Voldemar's gone for that third one as well, and he's on the aggression, to me is just absolutely, it's mind-blowing. But perhaps that just speaks to the patience that you need to have with Joan, because you really have to play around the hero. You really have to play a different style when you're playing as Joan. I think that it's much more about aggression rather than it is about economy when you're playing with Joan, just simply because you have to rely on the hero a lot more. You want her to be out on the map, you want her to be gaining experience, and most importantly, you want to be making sure that you're using all of her abilities whenever they're off cooldown. Now, you can see that there is a little bit of a build-up that happens, a little bit of a charge system that comes in. Speaking of charge right now, we got a knight on the back line looking to do a bit of charging on those villagers. Not going to be able to find any just yet. 0 villager kills apiece on these on this side. I can't believe it. We're 12 minutes through the game, and we've got 0 villager kills. That's how good these guys are. And I tell you what, Voldemar, he's only getting better, this kid. You got to watch out for him. But now, on the backside, the knight comes through. It looks like we might have our first villager kill of the game. Indeed, we do. And immediately, he throws those vills inside the village. But expansion continues down on the south side of the map. Farms are coming up. Keep in mind, those farms are cheaper than English farms. Technically, the number might be a little bit higher, but in reality, you've got a lot more wood as the Chinese because you're getting that free 20% from supervision, baby. That is how good it is. But now, Beastie does finally look to get back out on the aggressive. A lot of archers here for Beastie as well. That's one thing to note. Not a whole lot of knights. And as a result, it's going to mean that he's able to overwhelm his opponent here early on, but a couple of skewers come out. Watch out. Knight's now going to get caught. We see that flaming arrow get thrown off right there. That's from Joan. Whenever you see that, the divine arrow, not the flaming arrow, the divine arrow. You've got to remember, she has been exalted by the gods. It is a divine arrow. Walls come up, by the way. Walls looking good for our man, our hero, the kid. But it looks like our knight behind the scenes will get caught here. Kid continues to fall back. At the same time, taking the ball down to the south. He's going to lose a villager for it. Indeed, he does. He's lost more villagers to the boar than he has to the beast, and that is... Actually, that's not true. He's lost more to the beast than he has to the boar. But, they always say you can't really tell the difference between Beastie and... No, I was going to say Beastie and the beast. Boary and the beast. It doesn't make sense. Boar and the beast, Beauty and the beast. There was something in there. I was trying to find it. I couldn't find it. Anyway, we've got markets coming up. This is always a bit curious. Why is he making a market? What's he doing? I'm looking at the resources. What's going on here? Why do you feel like you need to have a market here? You got a little bit of gold in the bank, but it's nothing that you should be thinking about doing. A second market? What is this double market play that we've... Oh, no. Oh, Beastie's trapped. Oh, no, Beastie's trapped. We enter into the cinematic mode as Voldemar puts Beastie in the corner. Horseman now coming around the bottom side. He's got the perfect counter system. The double spear versus... Or the spear horseman versus the knight and the archer. It is an absolute brutal matchup right now. And Beastie suffering as he tries to make his way around that edge of the wood line. The horseman going to be able to make a connection there. Joan continuing to level up, but it looks like she will be going down. Vanquished by the spears. And now those horsemen looking to try and make sure they have connections with those archers. Doesn't want to miss any of those. And look at the numbers coming out right now from the kid. I tell you what, you got to be scared of this guy if you ever run into him on the ladder. He might look young, but I tell you what, he is incredibly powerful, incredibly wise, and incredibly resilient. I don't know. I'm just throwing out words at this point. Just watch out for him, all right? He doesn't mess around. Let's bring that UI in. Let's take a look at what the difference is between the army values at the moment. It's pretty damn close, if I'm honest with you guys. And Beastie manages to take out a fair swath of... Swath? I think that's a word. Fair swath of the spears on the way down. But now, The problem is that Voldemar's got a window, and that window is a castle age window because he's won a fight, he's got the number advantage, so now Beastie's going to have to rebuild those units, whereas Voldemar's going to say, actually, I don't need to rebuild those units because I've still got them, and I'm going to go to castle age with the resources instead. So he looks to put it down. It's going to be the Montlu Academy that is coming down, another brand new landmark for Juicy's legacy. I tell you what, it just gets juicier with these guys towards that front side. He's got to be careful, though. It looks like the horseman will get cleaned up. Joan going to be picking up a couple more experience points back here, and we do see she is once again back on the field. Let's take a look at this brand new juicy landmark. Montlu Academy. Imperial officials collect tax twice as often and also collect 20% of taxes as food. Contains unique upgrades that greatly improve the Imperial official unit. Now, for me personally, I feel like the other landmark is a little bit better open with, the Shaolin Monastery, just because it allows you to get out on the map and start taking relics. The Shaolin monks are incredible as well. For anybody who's unfamiliar with them, they don't actually have a unit class other than, I think it's like religious unit, which means that they don't get counted by anything. They're not an infantry unit, they're not a cavalry unit, because well, obviously, they're nothing. And it's a super duper cool unit. But I'm curious to see whether he looks to make that play. Still sitting at about 89 villages at the moment. Let's have a look at the farm transition, because normally, yeah, 39 farms is a decent amount. I will say that much. I definitely don't think he's finished, but you could safely transfer or transition into Yuan Dynasty here quite happily, I think. And that would unlock a couple of things for you. Number one would be the pagoda, which would be very, very nice. And we can see the monastery going to get thrown down here. I feel like he probably made the wrong landmark or just wasn't checking or yeah, because it feels like normally you want to open with the Shaolin and then you go into the Montlu Academy. Because just one thing to note, right? You've got really cheap farms as the Chinese, and you've got the grain, or as the Juicy Legacies, and you've got the granary. So you've already got a lot of food. So the fact that you get food from your taxes isn't really a big thing. If there was like stone from your taxes, I'd be like, that is crazy. Hell yeah, that's amazing. Or even if it was wood, I'd be like, hell yeah, brother, that's great. But it's food, and it's like, bro, look at my food. I'm on 2.2k food a minute. We're only 17 minutes through this game. I don't need more food. I'm good. But speaking of good, have a look at this. Joan has aged up, leveled up. She's now got a little bit more damage on her Divine Arrow, an extra 60 damage on the top there. She now takes significantly less range damage, but have a look at this as the push comes to shove, as the horsemen make their way towards the front line. The Palace Guard's going to get involved. Spearman looking to come out. I thought he had an upgrade coming through, but it doesn't look like it just yet. Knight's doing a decent job on the front line, and Beastie fighting to stay in this game. He says, I know that you might be ahead on the age up. Speaking of age up, there goes Beastie right now, hitting the castle age as well. He'll be looking for upgrades and committing the cardinal sin of pushing while aging. Means that all of these units that he loses in the fight could have had their castle age upgrades. But I tell you what, not a lot of these units have got castle age upgrades. We start to see crossbows making their way onto the field, lancers coming out as well, and we hear relics being picked up behind it. Wolves going to come in as well over on this little space just to seal up the deal here. But Joan looks like she might be the last woman standing here today. As I tell you what, she's slowly going down and now makes her way through. Look at him picking up the villagers right there. See? I tell you what, American sniper, who knows anything about that? We got the French sniper right here. Look at her go. Unfortunately, she's gone to the grave, and it means that, well, it means Beastie's going to have to fork out a little bit more money if he wants to see her again. And I'm sure he will want to see her again, because I tell you what, she's an absolutely stand-up gal. Upgrades coming through, though. Looks like we're going to start off with some extra Imperial officials on the field now. That's going to increase the build limit of Imperial officials for Voldemar from 4 and take it up to 6. So you'll be able to make 6 of these bad boys, have them out collecting, doing all that good stuff. I love the fact that he's on 3 TCs as well. I'm still very curious what these 2 markets are all about and exactly what that meant. Maybe, you know what, I've got no idea. They are technically cheaper. You only pay 60 wood for them instead of 100 wood, but I can't help but feel like that's probably not the reason why. But look at this, up towards the top side. Counterwall's going to be coming in for Beastie. Crossbows moving in together with the spears. Got a little bit of palace guards here. Relic's getting picked up behind the scene. That's going to be number 2 for Voldemar. He's got a 20 villager lead. Wants to extend that eco lead out with the relics. Take a look at Joan on the back line, just teeing off towards her opponent. Doesn't look like she's got any divine arrows in charge at the moment, but still has plenty of damage to unleash upon her enemy. And now the crossbow number's starting to look really good as the push continues through the center here. We'll check back in on the base. You can hear all of those units just producing non-stop. Where is that production coming from? I don't even know. But I tell you what, Voldemar's doing a wonderful job of getting the units out here very quickly onto the field. Looks like the force back is coming for the moment. Beastie holding on for dear life. He's got the 2 TCs, but remember, he's not playing as the French, which means his village account is not as high as he would be used to. Looks like the guild hall still just chilling out at the moment. 140 stone. Sitting in there, he'll be waiting for it to hit at least 900 so we can look to transition that into a keep. But now 20 minutes into the game, Voldemar's position appears to solidify. He's picking up a third relic now. Keep in mind, he's got a fourth one down here on the south side. He's got relics he can look for. Unlikely that he takes the fifth relic, but I tell you what, if you're in the late game situation, you've got the option for pagodas, then China's just in an incredible spot. 170 population versus 118 for Beastie. He's that far ahead. And now looking to try and keep himself alive. It looks like he's going to pop out Jones Riders. They've got unique damage bonuses against crossbows, and that's exactly the unit here that Voldemar's making. He falls back with the Rider for now. But I tell you what, it definitely feels like Voldemar is coming in for a big final push. Look at the resources. Is he thinking about Imperial here? It could be an option. He could also think about going Yuan Dynasty. It's definitely open to him, and he's not making units either. I think he's going for Imperial here. The numbers are really starting to build. Beastie could be in trouble. If he hits Imperial Age, there are so many good upgrades you've got available to you as the Juicy Legacy. Most notably, you've got that Temple of the Sun, which has the ability to increase your movement speed of your infantry by 15%. Let's have a look and see which way he's going to go for. He's going to go for Juicy's Library. Oh, he's throwing it down. This landmark has access to 5 unique technologies available to the Juicy's Legacy. One of them allows your crossbows to do double damage, and he's got 22 of them out on the field at the moment. He's almost got enough gold for the upgrade and now begins to push through. Only the 12 villagers, but look at the amount of units he's got behind here. The heal's going to come out. Beastie wants to hold on for dear life. Where is she? Joan of Arc, get her in the back. There she goes, firing off. The new age begins, the Imperial Age is reached, and that is going to put an absolute stake through the heart of Beastie. He's going to be thinking to himself, how can you afford an army this big and Imperial Age? And now we see it coming through. It's going to be Dynastic Protectors. He's looking to pick up Imperial Guard, access to the Yuan Rider as well. And now, up against the Arbalatria, he continues to force back Beastie. Sacred Site's getting captured in the middle of the map. Voldemar, the kid, looks like he's got him on the ropes. The single relic from Beastie's side of the map. It's not even going to matter, ladies and gentlemen. The game gets called, and Beastie taps out. The kid bringing it home for all the fans. Fellas, go check them out. I'll leave a link in the description of where you can watch them both live over on Twitch. And make sure, if you haven't already, pre-order this expansion pack. I can 100% vouch for it. It is insane value.